Can you imagine the power of these formulas and this research that we're able to do and the impact that it can have on our being able to do our jobs better? It's pretty mind-blowing. So our next talk is by two geologists, Dr. Mary Wilson and Dr. Sian Proctor. Mary is faculty here at Scottsdale Community College, and Sian is faculty at South Mountain Community College. And basically, geology rocks. You must not take it for granted. They taught me that. I didn't know if I could pull it off, but you laughed, so that's awesome. So let me tell you a little bit about Sian and Mary. First of all, they are super passionate instructors. They so truly and deeply care about their students, and they're always looking for better ways to engage their students. They're looking through assessment, they're looking through delivery, and finding ways to engage students and to bring students the joy of geology. Now, you might be like, the joy of geology. I love geology and geography and sciences and such, so I see that joy. But they make it where they can see geology in everything they do. Also, one of the things that I just love about Sian and Mary is that they are always learning new things, always taking risks in the classroom, trying new things, trying to find ways to be more effective. Now, I could talk about these women all day long because they're my really good friends, but I'm going to let them talk to you. So please join me in welcoming my friends, Sian and Mary.
Thank you, Lisa, and it's a real pleasure to be here today with you. I am Sian Proctor, and I teach geology, planetary science, and sustainability at South Mountain Community College, and this is my geo partner in crime, Mary.
Hi, I'm Mary Wilson. I teach here at Scottsdale Community College. Go Chokes! Oh yeah. Sian and I teach very similar content, similar classes. We do it in a lot of different ways. We teach some online, some hybrid, some face-to-face. We mix and match. We try all sorts of different things. And then we get together and we talk about it. Because it's really hard to learn in a vacuum, so it's nice having a buddy to talk to. And I don't know if you're like me, but this is the audience participation part of the show. We get on our little soapbox. We hop up there the first time we see each other after a long time, and we start whinging about everything that's going wrong. So in terms of online learning for our students and for ourselves, what do you think our major complaints are?
What is it?
They don't participate. What else? Lack of engagement. What else?
They don't do their homework.
They don't do their homework.
They don't read directions.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. All right. So you're with us here. So we have a lot of challenges, and we have some from our own perspective as well. And so we started really thinking about what those challenges were. And the first one was, how can we increase student engagement? When we look at student engagement, part of it is them, and part of it is us, right? We're trying to engage them. We're complaining they're not engaged, but we're giving them a worksheet. And it's boring. Right? So the holy grail of engagement is going from high attention and going to high attention and high commitment on their part, and also on ours. So we have that goal. We identified another one. Guess what? These are our future voters. These are the people that are engaging our communities. They are the people that are going on, and we want them to understand geology. And we want them to understand it as well as they can in the single semester that we have them. We want to increase their ability to communicate in a digital format. I mean, sometimes the stuff you get is crazy. And we all know we have different student populations, right? Some of them are incredibly digitally literate, but that does not mean they are effective. Right? My 9-year-old, really digitally literate, but you should see these text messages that she sends me. I'm like, you can't speak in emoji, darling. But then we also have people who have more effective communication skills, but they don't have the technology background. And how do we bring them all together? Then we have some other really pretty selfish goals, right? We know our students cheat in online platforms. How do I know that? How can I say I know that? Because I had a student who told me that was her job. That's what she did. She took online classes for other people. Oh, yeah. So we start having this panic attack, like, well, how do I know? Because we always have that conversation. How do you know the student taking the class is the student doing the work? And then, of course, there's this sort of last goal, which is completely selfish. Grading online work. Is tedious, it is horrible, it's boring, it's monotonous, it's all the things they hate about online work. So we had these goals, and then we thought to ourselves, what are we going to do about it? What can we do about it? Is there anything that we can do about it? Well, luckily, Cyan's a genius. She's like the evil genius. I'm more of the beedo minion. And she came up with a really great idea of how we could start to potentially impact all of these areas. So we did an exploratory study, and by exploratory, I mean just that. We just wanted to see what we could find and see what we could get out of this. And so I'm going to hand it back over.
So, what is a video investigation and how do students do them? So, how they do them is simple. If we are asking them a question and asking them to film themselves, then they just use their cell phone 90% of the time to take a video answering that question, and then I ask them to drop that into the discussion board. But a lot of the times, I actually ask them to do voiced over screencast videos. How many of you guys have done a screencast before? So you know what I'm talking about. Well, having your students do screencasts is a great way to get at what they're learning. So I offer a free software called Screencast-O-Matic that the students can download and use to create these voiced over videos. But I don't limit them to that. They can use any screencast software or even app for their phone as long as it records in an MP4 format for Canvas. And then I ask them to embed it into the discussion board. So instead of having them writing an essay about something, they create a voiced-over screencast video or a video of themselves, and they pop it into the discussion thread. And so what do these video investigations look like? Well, they're designed to get at the student's knowledge of a topic. And so, for example, here is one in which they're going to talk about plate tectonics. And when I first started doing video investigations, I didn't give the students a lot of guidelines on what I wanted them to do. I would basically say, tell me about, pick a plate tectonic boundary and tell me the features on it. Well, I would get videos from 30 seconds to 10 minutes long, depending on who the student was. So now I decided that what we needed was we needed to guide the students better in how they were going to do these video investigations and how long they were going to be. And so now the students do either a 1 minute, 2 minute, or a 5 minute video investigation on a topic that I want them to be able to express their knowledge about. And from an instructor standpoint, you might be thinking, oh, I don't want to teach my students how to do a video or a screencast. We don't teach them anything. I can tell you right now, we just put the assignment up and they do it. The very first assignment that they do in my online class is that they have to introduce themselves to the rest of the students in a video. Tell me who you are, what you do, why are you taking this class, and they do it. They do it on their phones, they do it on their computers. And then for the screencast and Screencast-O-Matic, again, I don't teach them. 99% of our students come in and they can figure out how to do it. So, do you want to see a screencast? Okay, let's watch this one.
Hey guys, this is Jared Wilson for Dr. Proctor's Geology 110 course, and I'd like to talk to you guys today about convergent boundaries. Here we have an ocean to continent convergent boundary. You have your oceanic plate here and your continental plate here. The two plates are going to come at each other, and at the point of collision, the oceanic plate, due to the fact that it's made of more dense materials, is going to subduct underneath the continental plate. When the plate subducts, it's going to create compressional stress. It's also going to create the oceanic trench, and here you're going to have your accretionary wedge as well. The different features that could be created at a convergent boundary include mountains and volcanoes. A lot of great mountain ranges around the world have been created by convergent boundaries, including the Andes, which we'll get to shortly. So yeah, you can get volcanoes and earthquakes at convergent boundaries. The earthquakes, they can occur along the trench, on the surface, and into the Earth's mantle as the oceanic plate continues to subduct. The volcanoes are caused by materials being carried down into the Earth and then melting. The melting results in magma. The magma is less dense than the rocks around it, so it rises up. It'll pool here in different little magma chambers and then find its way to the surface where it erupts. So you'll definitely have some volcanoes here. And the real world example I'd like to provide for you is South America here. You have your Nazca plate over here and the South American plate over here. You can see the oceanic trench, or the boundary, if you'd like to call it that. The Andes Mountains are going to be created right over here. So this plate is going to subduct underneath the South American plate. The Nazca plate is going to subduct underneath the South American plate. And the South American plate is going to be the overriding plate. And as I mentioned before, the Andes Mountains have been created due to this convergent boundary. Anyway, I want to thank you guys very much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
So that was an example.
Right?
Yeah. So that was an example of a 2-minute video investigation on plate tectonics. And all I did was I told them that they got to choose between the 3 types of plate boundaries, so giving them options. And they have to explain what happens at that plate boundary, and then you have to find a real-world example of that plate boundary. And that's what he put together. And what's interesting is that because the students are given choices, all the videos are different from each other. And it's amazing to see what they come up with. One of the things that I love about doing these video investigations, and I will say that my students I teach online, my students do a video investigation every single week. And I know that's Jared. I know his voice. I know what he looks like. I have a very personal connection with him because of these video investigations. And when they come to campus, they see me. They're like, "Hey, Dr. Proctor," because they know me too. And I'm like, "Oh, Jared, hey, how's it going?" Because we've made that personal connection. And at the end of the semester, I like to try and get my online students to come to campus, and we celebrate what we've done over the semester. And you should see the interaction because they know each other from the videos. They're like, "Hey, how's it going?" And they already know each other in the virtual world. Also, the creativity. They will bring in family members. They will bring in props. They will take video and voice over the videos showing different things. I am amazed at how creative the students are. And these are non-science majors. So getting them to be able to express themselves in this digital environment and to gain these skill sets is so valuable.
So we put all this together. Sian was teaching online. I was teaching a hybrid class. And we thought, what could we look at? Because again, it was an exploratory study. It wasn't meant to, really define anything. We had her do a video investigation on every topic. And I picked 4, just to see what would happen. And then at the end of the semester, we got back together, we talked about how we felt about the experience, and we also gave our students a survey that they had to then complete related to their experiences in the class. And this is what we found. Well, first and foremost, I want to start with the most important thing for me. Grading used to be like this, but it eventually became much more like this because it was fun. It was fun to watch. They were different, they were engaging, they were limited. 2 minutes per student, I can give you that, right? Secondly, they started off being out in the ether, who knows who's doing what, and they turned into people. In my hybrid class, I knew, because I had seen them in class, and then I had them in the video, so even if it never turned to their face, I know their voice, and we were able to accomplish that. And then we look at our more global gains of what we're trying to do in this environment of teaching and learning. And we found this. So when you look at this, Green and purple are good, and we've aggregated those for you. So we pulled some of this data out, and what we found was our students actually enjoyed them. They enjoyed making them. They enjoyed watching others. They enjoyed learning they really felt it was a valuable tool, that they actually got better at summarizing and presenting. How could you not? We did have them embedded in discussion boards, so they watched each other's, and they got competitive, and they got better, right? So they recognized that they were also critically analyzing material. We asked them to pick topics that they felt most confident on, and then why. What affected your confidence? And if you look at this, you'll actually see that plate tectonics is first, and then earthquakes, and then volcanoes. Well, doesn't everybody love that? Right? And when they talked about why they loved it, it was because they were interested. But when we pulled that data apart, we realized that actually my students really, really, really liked volcanoes. And Cyan's were like, yeah, they're all right. But volcanoes was one of the investigations I did. And she didn't do it. And so we're like, ooh, this is exciting. So, because they claim that they were better at it because they were interested. Interesting, right? When we looked at the ones they didn't like, for example, rocks and minerals, really? Mass wasting in groundwater, again, we pulled out that data, but it turned out that science students hated rocks and minerals. Mine loved them because it was one of the video investigations I did. So we started thinking, can we actually make them more interested in a topic by engaging them in this way? Because when they said they didn't get it, they said they didn't have enough time. They just didn't feel like it. It was not that they didn't understand it or it was too hard. Well, in some ways it was too hard. So being interested and not having enough time are not opposites, right? So we started thinking, maybe we can make them more interested if we engage them in this way. Also, they enjoyed the video investigations themselves. They enjoyed making them. They enjoyed watching them. And here's a really important thing to think about. Most of them spent 1.5 to 2 hours on every single one. In science class, that was every week. And in mine, it was 4 times over the course of the semester. They spent a lot of time on these things. And to have that level of enjoyment and engagement on something that actually takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to construct, we thought was pretty important.
So the other day, I was in my office, and a student came in to drop something off to me, and it was one of my online students. And what was great was that she took me last semester, and she's like, oh, I'm in your online class again. I absolutely loved the format you had for your online class. And this was a class in which I required them to do a video investigation every week. And here she was, because she loved it so much, she was taking me again. That doesn't really happen very often for non-science majors, to take both of your science classes with the same instructor, and especially in an online environment. And so what's interesting is that they really do enjoy doing these video investigations, and you can easily do them too. They can be done in any classroom, in any topic. And what you're asking is, you're asking your students to basically do mini presentations. But they're not doing them in the classroom where they're taking up all of your time. They're doing them outside the classroom and then embedding them into the LMS. And so what's interesting about that is that you're giving them the time to put something together using technology, but also expressing their understanding and their skill set. So what's next? As Mary had said, our goal now is to look at our students and say, can we actually drive their interest? Can we increase their confidence in a topic by having them do specific video investigations? And so it'll be interesting to see what we find out. Mary, would you like to add anything to that?
No. Thank you.
So now who's excited about video investigations and wants to try them?
Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mary.